leaks, question paper gangs or these solver gangs, and also shortcomings within the National Testing Agency or the NTA itself. Now, top government sources are revealing to News 18 that all cases of NEET have been handed over to the CBI, and they will be investigating each and every aspect/angle to this entire issue. Government sources have also highlighted some impersonation cases in Delhi, which will also be investigated. So this is the first time we are putting it out that even in the national capital, there have been cases of impersonation that have now mushroomed, that will now be investigated by the CBI. The other day, we had one of the members of the teaching fraternity, Vivek Thakur, coming out and alleging that there are cases of parents who shifted their centers, examination center from Delhi to Jhajjar just 2 or 3 days before the examination. And there are other cases that are now come forth, which the CBI is now telling us, and top government sources telling us that there are cases of blatant impersonation in the national capital itself. Top government sources also revealing that the NTA's handling of the entire matter was also immature. That's the reason that the DG Subodh Kumar is now out, and there is a retired IAS officer who's now been made DG of the NTA, and Mr. Kharela is now going in and into this entire matter in depth. The assurance is that the entire testing procedure will be revamped. There was no need for grace marks, is what government sources are revealing, and that other relaxations and re-examination should have been held immediately. It should not have been dragged on. Government sources are adding that the role of NTA officials is also under scanner. So this is the other big news. 1, the issue of grace marks should not have been there. 2, impersonation cases in Delhi. 3, NTA officials and their role also under the scanner and will be investigated after understanding the whole procedure. Top government sources are saying that there is suspicion that there is a larger plot behind regular paper leaks. So the entire aspect of paper leaks, is it an organized gang that is operating in various states? Is it connected to a particular entity? And with respect to UGC NET and NEET, is there an involvement of officials of the National Testing Agency also will be now thoroughly investigated. Giving you a quick background on the investigation so far, the Central Bureau of Investigation has taken over 5 cases from Bihar, Gujarat, Rajasthan to investigate the alleged irregularities in the NEET UG examinations. According to officials, the CBI has registered 1 case each in Gujarat and Bihar and 3 cases from Rajasthan. In Bihar, the CBI team has acquired all relevant evidence pertaining to the alleged UGC NEET, the NEET UG paper leak case from the Economic Offences Unit. A 2-member CBI team consisting of a DIG and a Deputy SP rank officer have arrived in the state capital from Delhi and proceeded directly to the EOU office. They are expected to remain in the city for a few days. CBI team has also rushed to Godhra. In Gujarat, the police have actually arrested half a dozen individuals, including the head of the coaching center in connection with the alleged cheating at an examination center. Meanwhile, in Latur, 3 out of the 4 teachers have now been booked. So that's the update. Whereas the paper leak in Bihar is being seen as a localized incident, but there is a larger solver gang and it's happening at multiple areas. So could the involvement of a National Testing Agency official or officials is also not being ruled out. What we are expecting very soon in the coming days is the revised dates. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, to our top story. Daggers have been drawn between the government and the opposition even as the first session of the 18th Lok Sabha takes shape, from the pro tem speaker earlier now to the election of the speaker. So after that war between the NDA and the Indy bloc, now we've got their loggerheads over the appointment of the speaker and the deputy speaker. Now the first time in many decades, Bharat will see election for the speaker's post. The last time this happened was during the emergency in 1976. Now, the NDA has unanimously gone there and fielded Om Birla yet again, while the Indy bloc has fielded Congress MP K. Suresh for the post. Now, Kodikunnil Suresh is a senior MP, but are all members of the Indy Gadbandhan there as he stood there to file his nomination in front of the Lok Sabha Secretary General? That's another question. The twists and turns of the day came after the outreach effort by the government failed. There were initial signs that the government and the opposition could reach middle ground and there would be consensus on the matter, especially with the issue of the speaker. But then a condition was put, that's what's being alleged by the government, that the opposition put a condition. First, assure us on deputy speaker, then we will give you support on speaker. And that's where it all fell through, with the government saying it cannot be conditional. You agree, right now we are talking speaker, agree, let's follow convention. There will be no conditions that we set. But the larger question is, under this entire aspect of conditional support, has it driven this big wedge, ladies and gentlemen? And is it just a sign of things to come?
राजनाथ सिंह जी ने कल शाम कहा था कि वो खारगे जी को कॉल रिटर्न करेंगे। अभी तक राजनाथ सिंह जी ने खारगे जी का कॉल रिटर्न नहीं किया है।
सुबह भी माननीय खड़गे जी से माननीय राजनाथ सिंह जी ने चर्चा करनी चाहिए, पर वो किधर व्यस्त थे, तो उन्होंने कहा कि वेणुगोपाल जी आपको बात करेंगे।
स्पीकर का पद को लेकर के आज तक चुनाव नहीं हुआ और स्पीकर किसी एक पार्टी का नहीं होता है।
प्रधानमंत्री कहते एक चीज़ है, करते कुछ और। कल कहा था सहमति का, और आज जो उप अध्यक्ष का पद है वो देने के लिए तैयार नहीं।
जिस तरीके से विपक्ष की इस बार भूमिका रही है और शर्तों के साथ जिस तरीके से विपक्ष सामने आया है कि आप डिप्टी स्पीकर के पद पर सहमति कीजिए, मुझे नहीं लगता कि उचित है।
नहीं किया है, कोई बातचीत नहीं हुआ है, एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली दिस हैज बीन अ यूनिलैटरल डिसीजन।
Well, even as we dive into the debate, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have meetings which are going to happen both from the NDA and within the NDA alliance. Both are going to meet. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's residence is going to be one of the points. The other point is going to be the Union Home Minister Amit Shah's residence. Both are going to strategize, formalize. How are they going to go about things the day, the big day, the Wednesday? Because at 11 a.m., that's when the elections are going to happen. Joining us, Tuin Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP, Kamru Chaudhary, political analyst with us, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, scientist, political commentator with us, and we also have Sanjay Jha, author and political analyst. Namaste, Jai Hind to everybody. Sanjay Jha ji, let me start with you. Your thoughts here.
Anand, first and foremost, good evening. And I want to start by first telling you that you're looking very smart in that stylish jacket. I need to figure out a way to get it for myself. But, you know, your question is very fundamental. You know, what is the way out of this log jam on the speaker's post? Now, as we all know, I think everybody in the panel has been part of the political ecosystem for a long time. The speaker effectively takes a call on the conversations that happen in Parliament. There cannot be anything more sacrosanct than that, because you are not making speeches from bully pulpits. Whatever you say is recorded or heard by the entire country, and it is usually on matters of national and legislative importance. Now, if you look at the last 10 years, Anand, you know, you have had this absolutely preposterous situation where 146 MPs of the opposition were actually, you know, disbanded from Parliament. Bills passed, serious bills passed. In fact, I'm aware of how the farm bills were hustled through at a great embarrassment to Mr. Modi later on. Budgets have been cleared within minutes, and basically, you know, money bills being basically used as some kind of a, you know, artifice to pass many legislations that required debate in the Raj Sabha. So we have seen a mockery of democracy. Now, here is the bottom line, Anand. In a very ideal universe, that's what you should aim for. You see, Mr. Modi's government has reduced politics into some kind of a mammoth farce. But if you really were thinking about it in terms of India's democratic credentials, the speaker ideally should resign from the BJP, or if it's an India alliance, then remember, tomorrow it can happen in 6 months. The speaker should resign from the principal party and become a neutral, dispassionate and impartial person who conducts the hearings and the speeches and the conversations and the adjournments and the no confidence motions in Parliament. That is the ideal situation to be in. Now look at why you currently have a gridlock. Mr. Modi's government did not even allow for a pro-term speaker, which ideally should have been the candidate, Mr. Suresh, number one. Point number two, here is the second point. If the opposition is negotiating, if that's a term that we are all using, and saying that give us the post of the deputy speaker, which I think is the most legitimate, reasonable and fair way to look at it. This person will only officiate when the speaker is, for whatever reason, not in the chamber. Now here is Mr. Modi's government did not allow for a pro-term speaker, not allowing for any, shall we say, even conversation on the position of the deputy speaker. And this is a party, by the way, which is not even having its own absolute majority in the Lok Sabha, but is using the clout of the coalition. So I think the sum and substance is that we should worry if, as a democracy, Mr. Modi's party, humbled and humiliated, brought down from 400 projected number to 240, is still assuming this diabolical proportion that we will call the shots. I think the people of India have given them a message, and I'm very confident that the way they are going, they'll probably not last more than 6 months to 8 months.
Okay. Twin Sinha, would you want to respond?
Well, namaste.
Namaste.
Anand, I don't know why the Congress party cannot shed its entitlement. When, my friend Sanjay Jha says that the country has sent you a message by reducing it to 240, by the same logic, the country has been giving this message to Congress party since 1984. Because it was way back in 1984 when they got more than 240 seats. So I think, they should come out of this entitled mindset. Fact is that the people of this country provided a reprieve of sorts to the Congress party by giving them 98 seats. They should have behaved a little more sensibly. They should have behaved a little more responsibly rather than continuing with their obstructionist gimmicks. The point is, in the history of our parliamentary democracy, there has never been a contest for the post of speaker. And in any case, the post of the speaker is always the prerogative of the ruling party. Now, over here, I don't know why the Congress party brought a no confidence motion in 2019, 2018 and 2023 when they knew that they would be defeated. Now they want to fight for the post of speaker when again they know that the result would be a foregone conclusion. Besides, they don't seem to enjoy the support of even the TMC or Sharad Pawar. So why does the Congress, insist on this obstructionist gimmicks unless, they are suffering from a low self-esteem? Now, there are at least 8 state governments right now run by the opposition. In none of these states is the deputy speaker's position given to the BJP. So I think, at least they should shed the hypocrisy before making all kinds of allegations. I think the only reason why they want to fight for the post of speaker is that so that, they can again claim that the Modi government is unfair and again create obstructions for the remaining part of the inaugural session.
It could also be that they are cornering the leader opposition position firmly for the Congress within the INDI alliance. Also Kamru Chaudhary, also Kamru Chaudhary from Madhav Malvankar to Meera Kumar. Did any of these speakers resign from the Congress party? In fact, a Sardar Hukam Singh was given the deputy speaker's post so that he will eventually join the Congress party 8 months after being sworn in as deputy speaker. So that's the level to which trade-offs have been done for speaker and deputy speaker by the Congress in the past. So quite rich coming from the Congress trying to sermonize the BJP saying this and that. Never has this rule been followed about convention, etc., of giving the deputy speaker's post to the non-ruling party. The constitution does not mandate it. So why do all of this?
Yeah, actually, why do all of this? When the Prime Minister of this country says that we should rule by consensus, and that's how the democracy should function, a multi-party democracy. Here you give 2 hoots to the opposition and say that we don't care. Before the election also the Prime Minister said, Rahul, कौन Rahul? और शपथ लेने का टाइम में हमने देखा किस तरह से उन्होंने नमस्कार किया, नमन किया. That's the beauty of the democracy. The people have taught the arrogant Bharatiya Janata Party a big lesson in this election. Lekin one thing Anand, you must remember, we as congressmen, we will not go down without a fight. Come what may. There are no kid gloves in this 18th Lok Sabha. You can write it, we can count it, we can debate thousands of debates with you every evening,
Ji.
but each and every day will be fought. We are a strength in greater numbers than the 17th Lok Sabha. When the question of the pro tem speaker was coming in, what the government needed to do was just a consensus, because the pro tem speaker has got as such, as per constitution, no obligations in running the Lok Sabha except for administrating the oath of office to the new members in the parliament. The arrogance of the Narendra Modi government was clear in the eyes of the nation. If we had not projected this as a...
May I intervene? With your kind permission? Okay.
Let me finish.
Haji.
Just 10 more
Please,
seconds
please,
I will
please,
take
please,
out here.
please.
Now, lot of opposition of my dear friends will try to digress the entire debate to the states that are there, Mamata Banerjee's government or the DMK, they will cite the example. But I will not digress the entire debate to the states, because it's the Lok Sabha, the largest democracy in the world, where a consensus should have been a trendsetter.
I'm going to stay with Lok Sabha only, sir. I'm going to stay with... I'm going to stay...
No, we whole day we have been listening to this.
Sir, I'm going to stay with the Lok Sabha only, sir. Please, let me ask you. You don't have the numbers, yet you want to obstruct. And it's the government that is arrogant. You don't have a consensus, yet you want to push your candidate. And it's the government that is arrogant. You know that there is no rule like this. You also know there is no convention like this. Yet you want to insist. And it's the government that is arrogant. You know the issue is about the speaker. And you are putting the condition कि पहले deputy speaker decide करो फिर speaker पे बात करेंगे. Yet it's the government that is arrogant. This is classic Gobel, sir.
No. The entire debate is not so easy that you are thinking out here.
Sir, it can be as simple as you want to make it, or it can be as complicated as you want to make it.
Anand,
please
what is the government's attitude out here? Is my way
what
or
was
the highway.
What was the attitude?
We do not want to take the opposition along.
What was
So
the attitude? What was the
What
attitude? What was the attitude?
We suggested the senior most member be elected as the pro tem speaker. You refused. We asked for a deputy speaker's post. You refused, citing that there is no convention, there is no rule.
Correct.
Fine. We are not afraid of that.
No, but it's not being afraid,
remember,
sir.
Anand,
But
let
Kamru
me,
Chaudhary
through
ji,
your channel,
the
tell the entire
who
country,
has,
the
sir,
opposition or the Congress party will
sir,
not go down without a fight.
It's not
We are
about
ready
bowing
to
down. You don't
expose
even have the
government.
numbers, sir. You need to
We
have a
don't have the
certain
numbers.
semblance
We
of
brought
numbers.
in
Sir, it is trying to say,
Just
sir.
10 more seconds, sir. 10 more
Sir,
seconds.
I'll tell you
Tulsi
one thing,
told
sir.
last year they brought in the no
I'm drawing
confidence motion.
before I go to Dr. Ranganathan, I'm drawing a film analogy. Amar Akbar Anthony, Amitabh Bachchan sitting inside jail looking at Amar. He plays the character of Anthony Amitabh Bachchan, and Vinod Khanna is the police officer, and he says, तुम अपन को बहुत मारा, अपन तुमको एक पंच मारा पर सॉलिड मारा. बट वो एक पंच मारने के लिए हाथ पहुंचना चाहिए सर. यहाँ हाथ भी नहीं पहुंच रहा, आप बोल रहे हो हम पंच मारेंगे. Are you going to punch in the air? What's the point of doing this? Had there been a consensus, Dr. Ranganathan, on the speaker, there could have been a deputy speaker from a non-ruling party. But doing this by being standoffish in a speaker case, has the opposition also now written off the possibility of a deputy speaker which has remained vacant since the 23rd of June 2019. So in the case of the deputy speaker, even the government doesn't color itself in glory. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
No doubt about it. Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, let's be very clear. The Congress is behaving like a playground bully. But this was to be expected, given that they have an arrested adolescent at the helm of the affairs and dynasty doormats as male au pairs to rock his cradle. The entire speaker imbroglio, Anand, is ridiculous and a deliberate and juvenile attempt by the Congress to not allow proper functioning of the parliament even for a day. Because of their juvenile antics, we are now going to have an election for a speaker for the very first time ever since independence. Take it from me. The Congress is not going to agree with Modi on even a single thing. Defense, foreign policy, internal issues, you name it. There will be no consensus on anything. Take the speaker issue. Why does the Congress demand the post of deputy speaker? In the states that it is currently ruling, both the speaker and the deputy speaker posts are held by leaders belonging to the ruling Congress. For example, in Congress ruled Himachal, Kuldeep Singh Pathania is the speaker and Vinay Kumar is the deputy speaker. Both are Congress leaders. In Congress ruled Karnataka, Khader Farid is the speaker and RM Lamani is the deputy speaker. Both are Congress leaders. And what is this childish act of brandishing the constitution book. Who are you trying to fool? Look, no one has damaged our institutions and our constitution more than the Congress. Let us begin from his great grandfather who dismissed duly elected state governments and will, arrested poets, jailed editors, banned books, censored films, outlawed even the humble harmonium for crying out loud. To his grandmother who amended the constitution at will and proclaimed the emergency whose anniversary it is today. To his father who deployed commandos to raid newspaper offices throughout Rushdie's satanic verses. And finally, to his mother under whose remote control ran a government that charged cartoonists with sedition. 8,000 activists, Anand, were charged with sedition in a single day under the UPA. And Home Minister Chidambaram called them anti-nationals. There exist as many as 295 documented instances of brutal trampling of democracy and freedom of expression under the Congress. 87 of those occurred in the last 15 years when Rahul was powerful enough to have stopped these violations. The Congress government in Chhattisgarh arrested a man for complaining against power cuts and charged him with sedition. People might not know, Anand, just 1 minute, the damage the Congress did to other institutions. Let me take just 2 examples here. Did you know the Congress blocked the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court if they were in any way associated with the ideology of the RSS, or even so much as attended the funeral of an RSS person as Justice Chandurkar did of Govalkar? This is from the book Supreme Visitors by Chandrachud. Let me know first verdict. Now to the election committee, 30 seconds. Congress acolyte and Sanjay Gandhi's man Friday Naveen Chawla played a ruthless pass during the emergency, letting loose a reign of terror. In fact, he was indicted by the Shah Commission for his crimes. But what happened as soon as the Congress came to power? He became the chief election commissioner. Just 30 seconds. And Rahul brandishes the constitution even as Modi has never unilaterally overturned the SC verdict like Rajiv. Never abused Article 356 like Indira. Never passed a press objectionable act like Nehru. Honestly, breathing sense into some of these congresses is as giving up like giving CPR to a dodo.
Okay, both the congresses want to respond. Tohin Sinha wants to respond. Sanjay Jha.
Anand, let me tell you that Shankar Mahadevan provides great entertainment with his breathless singing on
I was telling
stage.
that only.
But you know, when somebody tries to do the clownish act on a national discourse on a serious television channel,
Sanjay.
I think
You will remain suspended forever.
Can I speak?
You are
Why
not
is this
Okay, let's not speak over each other. I have only one
Why
request.
did I name you
Please.
Anand, I did
You
not
both
get personal.
see there are
I
three
didn't get
people.
personal.
There are 3 people.
So
I'm
I'm
not.
not
Okay.
gonna hold
Yeah.
back
True.
if he gets personal.
Okay. Yeah, just 10
I never
seconds.
got- I
Just
think
10
your
seconds.
name
10 seconds, gentlemen. I do not know about Kamru Chaudhary, but the other 3 I am aware of. All of you have got published works. You're all supposed to be in the literary field. So we can all be judicious in our choice of words and also august in our addressing the issue. So please take jibes, but let's not get personal. Yes, Sanjay, continue.
Anand, my friend Kamru, by the way, is one of the most intellectually solid people. I don't know about whether he has a published work.
That's what I said. I'm not questioning anybody's intellectual prowess. I just said published work. 3 of them I'm aware. Kamru Chaudhary I'm not. No disrespect here. Please go ahead. Yes.
And I don't know why people took offense unless they have a serious guilty conscience, because there are gentlemen, supposedly gentlemen, who use words like dodo, and that is kosher. But when they are called out,
but he didn't call you. He didn't call you a dodo. I'm just saying, please
I
don't
didn't-
call
I didn't
anybody
mention
personally a dodo. Personally, don't
I
call
did
them.
not
You can.
mention anybody, Anand.
What I'm saying, please, you are all aware of your own literary prowess and your own sensibilities. So I leave it to your intelligence. Let's take the debate.
All
forward.
right.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anand, let me, you and I, have had many conversations, and I need to congratulate you right now for your very sober and intelligent intervention. Let me make my point very quickly.
Ji.
You are dealing with a government that is authoritarian and a democratically elected dictatorship. They had a leopard never changes his spots. Mr. Modi, I have told many people in the opposition, is a bruised and wounded animal. He is now actually feeling so mortified after the public verdict that he's going to snap, bite and hit at anybody because his big fat ego is hurt. And which is why this government will now go after anybody who is going to be questioning them in terms of a democratic, inquiry. And you have a situation today where some people are already being charged with UAPA. Don't be surprised if tomorrow they will put a businessman in jail, because these people do not know anything other than 2 things: create fear, by actually using state power to intimidate and threaten people. They don't mind being called a washing machine as long as they can subjugate the opposition. Secondly, divide and rule. See, fear and division or fear and hate are the two principal legacies over the last 10 years of Mr. Modi's government, which is why the opposition is fighting tooth and nail for the speaker's or the deputy speaker's post, because they believe that this is the time to capture the national imagination on issues that sometimes don't become a headline.
Sir,
and I think it is important to recognize that.
Jay, may I please now intervene? Sir, what happens is, sir, when you make these arguments, history is has a litany of events and litany of instances, sir, when the Congress itself does not color itself in glory with respect to all
Anand,
all that you are alleging. I'm just saying, all of us, I'm going to Tuhin Sinha now. I'm going to go to Tuhin Sinha now. Dr. Ranganathan, please hold your horses. Sure. I'm just saying, Feroz Gandhi, part of the Nehru family, he started a movement for media freedom, which Nehru himself did not like. This is also chronicled in the annals of our history, of our political history. And that's why when the Congress talks about fear-mongering, dictatorship, Tanashahi, etc., Shyama Prasad Mukherjee himself, when he wanted to bring in this amendment to the freedom of speech, called Nehru as nothing but akin to Hitler. So it just looks like all that Mr. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had been called by the opposition and also Congress leaders of the day. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is just picking those words and hurling it back at the government of today. And that's where I keep saying, I'm not taking anybody's side here, but I'm just saying this is how it is. This is how political parties who are trying to be holier than thou today, holding the constitution today, Tuhin Sinha, they themselves amended the constitution 98 times, amended, altered, changed. I'm using all these three words with different intentions. 98 times before 2014. Yes, Tuhin Sinha.
The Congress party is a compulsive and obsessive offender when it comes to disregarding the constitution.
What is the BJP then, sir? Is the BJP an upholder of the constitution, sir?
Absolutely.
If that's the case, then why is the post of the deputy speaker vacant since the 23rd of June 2019, when Article 90 of the constitution itself mandates that if the post is vacant, immediately an election will be conducted and it should be filled again. It should not remain vacant. Please continue.
You can raise these issues separately, but over here, the very fact that they are putting up a contest for the first...
Answer the question.
Okay, wait, please don't. I'll push it. Allow me, Sanjay ji, please.
If there is a procedural lapse, you never answer the questions why the deputy speaker's post is vacant in Telangana. There could be a procedural lapse. So I think when Anand asks that question, it would be better if we also have a detailed, we can surely have a detailed discussion on that once the facts are clear. The point is, even, the very fact that the Congress has decided to contest for the post of Lok Sabha Speaker in the last 75 years, that has never happened. That itself shows their disregard for the spirit of the Constitution. What is this, for the sake of consensus, allow us this, for the sake of consensus, allow us that. It is very clear that the pro tem speaker is the person who has the maximum number of Lok Sabha terms consecutively. So therefore, in 2014, in the 16th Lok Sabha, Kamal Nath was given that privilege as against L.K. Advani, who, if you had taken non-consecutive terms, was senior to him. The way they have been waxing eloquent on consensus, I'm afraid tomorrow they might suddenly say, give us the Prime Minister's post for 1 month, for 6 months. I think the Congress needs to talk logic.
That will be good for the country.
And for the first time, in the world, you would probably witness a dictator who has been called so for the last 20 years, and yet all those people who have abused him go unpunished. These people abuse even his family members. There are time and again Congress has, unleashed its abuse upon his family members, yet those people go unpunished. So this is a bizarre situation.
No, it's a bizarre situation, but the fact is right now, I'm only throwing one question up in the air, that has the opposition now kissed even a chance, any chance that remained of the deputy speaker coming the non-ruling party way, goodbye. Kamru Chaudhary and then Dr. Ranganathan, and there's another quick, we'll just do a quick departure from the current debate to another important instance or incident that happened in the parliament earlier in the day. But yes, Kamru Chaudhary.
Yeah, basically.
Anand, I need to leave at
Anand,
8:30.
Jay, yes, please. Yeah, in the next
Yeah.
5-7 minutes, we'll deal with it.
Yeah,
I
Anand,
request you stay on
basically
just
you
in the
must.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, Anand, basically you must understand what's happened in the 17th Lok Sabha under Om Birla. We demanded that there should be discussions on the Hindenburg issue. We wanted the discussion to be held on the Manipur issue. We wanted discussion to be held on the CA issue, on the farmers' agitation, on a lot number of issues. But the arrogance of the government and the role of the speaker, who is supposed to be above partisan lines, refused any such discussion, prompting the entire opposition to bring in the no confidence motion, to bring before the country what the opposition thinks about. So this 18th Lok Sabha, by bringing in Om Birla, once again, I am not anything with him personally, but he represents the other side of the governance. The Narendra Modi ji or Tuhin Sinha here is sitting and espousing out here at the fairness of the Narendra Modi government. But we are trying to expose the hollowness of this government in bulldozing the opposition, in trying to weigh.
No, I'll tell you what, Kambu Chaudhary. The Congress party, whenever it has had the numbers, or even if it has not had the numbers, has bulldozed the opposition or any voice that has spoken. No. Whenever, sir, I'm just.
BJP.
No, sir. I'll tell you, sir. I personally, sir, have been. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
We lost elections.
No, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. I'll tell you one thing, sir. The Congress party does not color itself in glory when it comes to actually walking the talk on democracy, on the right to freedom of speech, and to have a differing opinion. No political party colors itself in glory at all. No, sir, it's not perception.
Yes.
I personally have been facing it for the last 8 years, and I'm speaking from personal experience. So let's not try and wax eloquent, sir. The conduct of the Congress party, the Congress of the party in power in Parliament has been based on the strength of the numbers that they have had. Whenever they have not had the numbers, their arrogance or their might or their tactic of trying to be overpowering has been curtailed. But they have continued to do so. Here I am saying you don't even have the numbers, and look at the tone that you are using. Look at the attitude you are showing. That's what it is. Quickly, sir, I have to wind up. I have to wind up. Anand Ranganathan, just another big instance that has happened earlier in the day. We had one parliamentarian who wanted to say Jai Shri Ram, and he was heckled. Another parliamentarian who said Jai Hindu Rashtra, and a third parliamentarian who has said Jai Philistine, and that's the person on your screen right now. What does Article 102 of the Indian Constitution say, ladies and gentlemen? And I quickly want your thoughts on whether or not you subscribe to this kind of a language being used. Article 102 of the Constitution, disqualification for membership. A person shall be disqualified for being chosen as or for being as a member of either House of Parliament. And D, Clause D, if he is not a citizen of India or has voluntarily acquired citizenship of a foreign state or is under any acknowledgement of allegiance or adherence to a foreign state. So in this case, does what Mr. Owaisi, what he has said on the floor of the House while swearing in, does this come under this? Is it extant to this is the question. Sanjay Jha, I know you have to leave, so quickly your thoughts, and then I'll come to you, Dr. Ranganathan. Oh, Sanjay Jha is not there. Dr. Ranganathan. Yeah.
Owaisi said Jai Bhim. I'll tell you what Jai Bhim said. Jai Bhim said, and I quote, Islam is a close corporation, and the distinction that it makes between Muslims and non-Muslims
is a very real, very positive, and a very alienating distinction. The brotherhood of Islam is not the universal brotherhood of man. It is the brotherhood of Muslims for Muslims only. There is a fraternity, but its benefit is confined to those within that corporation. For those who are outside that corporation, there is nothing but contempt and enmity. The second defect of Islam is that it is a system of social government and is incompatible with local self-government, because the allegiance of a Muslim does not rest on his domicile in the country in which is his, but on the faith to which he belongs. To the Muslim, ibi bine ibi patria, where it is well with me, there is my country, is unthinkable. Wherever there is the rule of Islam, there is his own country. In other words, Islam can never allow a true Muslim to adopt India as his motherland and regard a Hindu as his kith and kin. Unquote. Jai
Anand,
Bhim
you
said
cannot
this.
forbid these blasphemic words out here.
No.
Each and every
No.
Muslim in India
One
is
minute.
an Indian.
Kamruddin Chaudhary, one minute.
No.
Kamruji,
I
1 minute.
have no
Kamruji,
strong
he is
objection
not
to
saying,
his
these are not his words. These are not
No.
his words. He has quoted
you
from,
have misinterpreted.
he has quoted, 1 minute. He has quoted from Dr. Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. He has quoted from Dr. Ambedkar's book.
Kamru, condemn Ambedkar if you have the guts. Don't slink away and hide behind a rock. Say Dr. Ambedkar was wrong with these words. Say it.
Mr.
If you have the
Anand,
guts, no, you
Mr.
don't.
Anand
Because
ji,
you're a coward. Because you quote Ambedkar selectively. This is your problem.
Because you quote an
Okay, now,
selectively.
okay, my question
Do you
is,
want
we have
to
limited
quote-
time, we have
do you
limited
want
time.
to
I just
quote
quickly
Swami
want to
Vivekananda
ask
what
you,
he thinks about
we are
Ambedkar?
digressing. Gentlemen, Kamru
Muslim body
Chaudhary,
and the Hindu
do you
soul
agree with, do you agree with Mr. Owaisi's action? Do you believe what he's done is right? Final comments, sir, I have to move on. Yeah.
Is that for me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, basically, there are two things. He has taken his oath by saying at the end of it, he said, Jai Palestine. Whether it is correct or wrong, I am not here to educate there are leaders of the house, the government is there, let them educate on
Why
this.
are you being
But
evasive?
I feel nothing wrong in it.
You
In the
don't see
sense,
anything wrong.
The reason being, the world is witnessing the largest genocide of innocent Palestinians in Palestine. Even greater than that.
So
we
you
saw
will
in the
use
World
that,
War
you will
II
use
and
the temple
Nazi
of
era.
democracy, the seat of the Indian
Because
constitution
I stand
to
with
make a
Palestine.
statement.
Come water may, I stand with Palestine,
No.
and as a proud Indian and a proud Muslim, I say here in your show, I stand with Palestine.
You can
and will
say
do
you
so.
stand with Palestine,
can
sir,
I
but
just
when you
make
do
a
that,
quick
when you're
point?
taking oath as a parliamentarian, what does that subscribe to and what does that mean, sir? You can support any cause, any country, any matter, that's your personal choice. But when you do it as a parliamentarian standing inside the parliament, then does that not tantamount to disrespecting that temple of democracy itself is a question, sir? Because when I am inside a masjid or I'm inside a temple, I have to behave based on the decorum that allows me inside that area. So same way as a parliamentarian, there is a parliamentary decorum that you are supposed to follow, and that's under the guiding principles of the constitution. Turin Sinha, quick word, then I'll move on, sir. Yes.
Anand, sadly, Owaisi today has once again demonstrated his Razakar mindset. What is particularly worrisome is that logically, if you see, the word Jai Palestine was preceded by Jai Telangana. So logically, Jai Telangana, Jai Bharat Mata or Jai Bharat should come after Jai Telangana. But the fact that he mentioned Palestine shows that, he seems to have some kind of a malified intent. Does he want to convert Telangana into a Palestine?
No, that is a political inference you will make. We'd leave it once the speaker is elected. The speaker must ask, because this should not be allowed. This is the beginning, sir. A lot of other things would be said and a lot of other things would be done. The conduct of a parliamentarian and someone as educated and illuminated as Mr. Owaisi himself. He's a barrister. He knows his constitution. He's a multiple-time MP. Should he or should he not do that? That's the big question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our guests here on debate number 1. And thank you very much. We're going to quickly shift focus, ladies and gentlemen, go straight across to Ambassador Sanjay Kumar. He's with us, the Indian envoy to Canada. We've spoken with him in the past. Namaste, sir. Jai Hind. Thank you for your time.
Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Regret if I had kept you waiting. You joined us, but we were having a conversation about developments here in Parliament. Now let me turn the focus to what happened on Sunday, on the 23rd, as you commemorated the anniversary of the Kanishka bombings. A lot of the families of the martyrs, or beg your pardon, the victims, those who died, they have come there. They still await justice. Take us through what happened on Sunday, sir.
So as the High Commission in Ottawa and our 2 consulates in Vancouver and Toronto, we came together with the families of the victims and attended the solemn occasion on the memorials in the 3 cities. Another one was also in Montreal, where we as government representatives were not present, but the families of victims, they were there. In all the 3 places, we found that there were pro-Khalistan extremists and elements encircling the area. The police authorities, the law and order authorities kept them apart from the victims, but nevertheless, they came close to the victims, to the families of the victims as well. This is unfortunately demonstrating disdain for the lives lost. They were the ones, the Khalistani extremists and terrorists were the ones who blew off the plane mid-air. They killed premeditatedly 329 people in air and 2 persons on ground. So somewhere we have to urge the Canadian side to see that the political space which is given to Khalistani terrorists and extremists in Canada is no more there, so that the bilateral relation can move forward.
But were there any Canadian parliamentarians or members of the Canadian polity, were they present there?
Yes, in both the places in Toronto and Vancouver, they were there. Since the parliament is not in session, so most of the members of parliament travel to their constituencies. Unfortunately, in Ottawa, we did not have a political presence, but we had presence from RCMP, we had presence from the foreign ministry here. So yes, they were there, but I was so glad to see more than 150 members coming from the Indian diaspora in Ottawa, in the Ottawa event, and showing solidarity with the families of the victims.
Did they stand up to these Khalistani elements who were trying to disrupt the event?
They did. They did. And they also told them to go away. They expressed their sentiments as to how useless was the presence of these Khalistani elements there. So in the larger diaspora, it was not seen as something which is positive in creating better ties between our two countries, and indeed giving solace to the grieving families.
Are you worried the Canadian polity and politics is veering away from the right and actually engaging itself with secessionist elements, break India elements?
See, there is something which we have said time and again, and that is that there is political space given to these Khalistani terrorists and extremists based out of Canada. And this political space has been creating difficulties, and the kind of space which are given now, I think it will create much more difficult scenarios for the future.
Did the House of Commons episode disturb you, sir?
Extremely disturbing. A person who was on Canadian no-fly list, and we did not ask Canada to put him no-fly, it was the Canadian decision. A person whose terrorist linkages were well known. There were some newspaper articles very recently as well saying everything, opening up. And then that person is honored the way in which he was honored, sends a very wrong signal and leaves a very bad taste for all of us. Though it is Canadian Parliament, so I should not be interfering in what they do. But certainly it was not a good spectacle for us and for the larger Indian community here.
Did you raise it with your counterparts? What was their reaction? Because you said there were members of the foreign ministry who were present on Sunday also. Did this matter come up?
We have raised this matter informally and formally, and we are waiting for the response. But once again, anything which is done in the Parliament, where India is not one of the topics of discussions, I will consider it largely the internal matter for Canada, and there will be a limit to which we can get into the matter.
But Niger belonged to the Khalistan Tiger Force, and the Khalistan Tiger Force and its activities, along with Babbar Khalsa and some of the other entities, their activities directly concern Bharat, sir.
Absolutely, I am completely with you on that, and that we have seen as a statement coming from one of the members of parliament who belongs to the governing ruling party. He has said it in black and white, called the spade a spade. I hope that more such representatives of the elected representatives of the people would be doing so.
In your understanding, how are the Indo-Canadian ties? Are they better than they were about 5-6 months ago? Or are you still a little concerned, the bilateral equations, relations between the two nations? Because the tone that's been coming in from the Trudeau government, would you see it as positive or would you see it as a cause for worry?
I'm still worried. Our core concern still remains very much there, glaring at us. Our core concern is yet not being addressed. There is no intention to address our core concern as well. So our ties remain what it was earlier, particularly the political ties. The other functional ties, they are moving ahead with some pace, whether it is investment or trade or people to people or science and technology, education. So all these are moving forward. But on the political side, till the time our key concerns are not addressed, or at least an attempt is not made to address them, I don't see any forward movement in our bilateral ties.
Bharat being named as a democracy which is a threat to Canada, in the same week or 10 days that a federal court names 3 people and puts them on the no-fly list as serious threats to law and order. Both developments are happening in Canada itself, Sanjay ji.
So what it indicates that there is a political space given, but there are still institutions in Canada which are more towards the rule of law, and they follow the evidence which they get to see and hear. And that is why these 2 Khalistani terrorists who were on no-fly list in 2018 went for appeal twice. And both the times their appeals were turned down. And this time it was the Constitutional Court which has kept them on the no-fly list. That itself shows that we have those elements in Canada who are waging war against India's territorial integrity.
Now, staying with that, sir, 1 year of this Niger death in Canada, have the authorities been able to give you anything concrete based on what their Prime Minister alleged on the floor of the Parliament? They've made some arrests, but beyond that, what?
So let me just dissect it a bit.
Ji.
When you see arrests, these are individuals residing in Canada. They happen to be Indian nationals. They are alleged to have committed a crime, and therefore the law of the land will take its course and give out its judicial decision and punishment. Then there is another one wherein unfortunate allegations against India has come out.
Yeah.
We had maintained our position on that we need something relevant and specific to see for us to look into it. Unfortunately, nothing of that kind has been shared so far.
So has there been any link that the Canadian polity has tried to establish between these individuals who've been arrested and their connection with the government of India or the Indian intelligence or whatever connection Mr. Trudeau has alleged?
Politically, I would say as a formal political statement, no. But I see a lot of narratives created by the Khalistani elements here, pro-Khalistan elements here, who have got patronage from some of these elected leaders. So yes, that is being peddled on various kinds of propagandist social media, and that is my worry.
Safety of the Indian officials, the embassy officials, the situation how it was about 3-4 months ago compared to that, is it better now, Sanjay ji, or are officials of the Indian embassy still being heckled, threatened?
So the threat itself will not go off till the time the core concern is not addressed. So till the time you have Khalistani terrorists and extremists living in Canada and they are not taken to account, they will continue threatening us. As far as the security is concerned, security is provided to the High Commission, that is High Commissioner, that is me, and our 2 consuls general.
Ji.
But then all the 3 offices have a lot many more people.
Yes.
They are left to fend for themselves. They are moving targets. So therefore, I keep urging my Canadian counterparts that please address the key concern, core concern. Only then the threat perception will come down. Otherwise, all of us are walking with targets painted on our back.
That's quite dangerous and quite a stressful situation to be in. My final question, Sanjay ji, have there been any recent threats? How is the staff, how are the people being able to manage and the morale? Have you been able to raise this also internally with the GOI?
Yes, we are in continuous contact with both the governments, GOI as well as the Government of Canada. And we share our concerns. So the conversation continues, and at the official level, we do interact very well. At the political level, it's altogether a different thing. The morale is not low because all of us are very much patriotic. All of us want to see our national interests served. All of us are very much there to see that India's interests are looked into by the Canadian side.
And you have support from the Indo-Canadian fraternity there?
I would say largely yes.
Okay.
If I can weed out these handful pro-Khalistan terrorists and extremists, then I would say largely yes. Some of them have started speaking out as well within the community, outside the community, to their political representatives. So I hope to see in a few years a better time for Indian concerns in Canada, and therefore probably moving to a better space in our bilateral time.
Our commendations to you and to your entire team, and also good wishes and prayers, Ambassador Sanjay Kumar. Thank you so much, the High Commissioner. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Namaste, sir. Jai Hind. So we're going to take a very, very short break, ladies and gentlemen. Brass tacks folks.
So breaking news now coming in. All right, but we have got a reaction also coming in from Sanjay Singh of Aam Aadmi Party. He will give the update about Atishi's health at the moment. Let's take a look at that as well.
तार बिगड़ रहा था और अभी जो रात को इनका शुगर लेवल चेक किया गया, ब्लड शुगर की जो रिपोर्ट आई है वो 43। तो सारे डॉक्टरों की ये सलाह है कि स्थिति इनकी बिगड़ी हुई है और इनको हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, वरना बहुत गंभीर स्थिति हो सकती है, बहुत बुरी हालत हो सकती है। इसलिए डॉक्टरों की सलाह पे इनको एडमिट कराया जा रहा है। मैम अभी कौन से हॉस्पिटल जा रही है? LNJP हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट कराने जा रहे हैं और पिछले 4 दिनों से लगातार, आज 5वां दिन हो गया, अनशन पे हैं। अन्न का एक दाना नहीं लिया, शुगर लेवल लगातार नीचे जा रहा है, कीटों।
Some big breaking news now coming in. Well, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has agreed to plead guilty in the US court to revealing military secrets in exchange for his freedom, ending his years-long legal drama. Assange, who had been in custody in Britain, will plead guilty to a single count of conspiracy to obtain and disseminate national defense information as well. That's the big breaking news now coming in. Another piece of breaking news also coming in. Well, NASA has delayed the return of 2 astronauts from the International Space Station for the 3rd time now, raising probable concerns the crew could be quote-unquote stranded. Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams were initially scheduled for a 9-day stay, which was then pushed back twice.
Rahul Gandhi vacates the seat he won for a second consecutive time and his sister steps in. There is a question of what has Priyanka Gandhi done to merit this ticket as a bipole after her brother has won from Wayanad. It's not like she has proven her electoral mettle.
Is America playing a very dangerous game with Bharat, where it bats with Bharat against the PLA vis-a-vis Tibet and Taiwan is concerned, but it uses Canada to once again bat and try and finger India?
Can the BJP absolve itself by insinuating that the other side, for a lack of a better word, is involved or is complicit in leaking the NEET exam? There must be somebody who gives out that paper, isn't it?
Why are we letting the Americans fire off our shoulders? This is basically an American congressional delegation coming here to India and making a geopolitical statement against China at a time when India has its own plate full when it comes to its own troubles with China.
phone pay proud.
And now sits at undetermined date as well. So that's the big breaking news now coming in. Remember, we told you earlier that there are multiple helium leaks happening and Boeing is unable to fix all of those helium leaks as well. That could be a probable reason why NASA has now delayed the return of 2 of the astronauts from the International Space Station for the 3rd time, raising many concerns that the crew could be quote-unquote stranded. Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams are on board. They were initially scheduled for a 9-day stay, which was then pushed back twice this month and now sits at an undetermined day as well. Shifting focus towards the state of Tamil Nadu and bringing you all the latest updates with regards to the Hoach tragedy. A number of people dying due to consumption of toxic country liquor in Tamil Nadu's Kallakurichi district reached 58 yesterday, and the least 156 people are still in hospitals across the state after consuming the illicit liquor on last Wednesday evening. Now, the Crime Branch Criminal Investigation Department, which is the CBCID of Tamil Nadu Police, has already begun a thorough investigation into the tragedy. AIADMK delegation is going to meet the governor over Hoach tragedy as the death toll continues to mount even further.
No, we are not silent at all. We have completely condemned it. We have asked the government to take the necessary steps to curb illegal liquor. We have done it, and we are not silent. The Congress party is very responsible and is completely conscious of what's happening there, and it is a serious issue.
Honorable Governor, and we have submitted a memorandum. We have appealed for CBI inquiry, because the state government is denying the CBI inquiry because they know they will be exposed, and it's revealed that
Rahul Gandhi vacates the seat he won for a 2nd consecutive time and his sister steps in. There is a question of what has Priyanka Gandhi done to merit this ticket as a bipole after her brother has won from Wayanad. It's not like she has proven her electoral mettle.
Is America playing a very dangerous game with Bharat, where it bats with Bharat against the PLA vis-a-vis Tibet and Taiwan is concerned, but it uses Canada to once again bat and try and finger India?
Can the BJP absolve itself by insinuating that the other side, for a lack of a better word, is involved or is complicit in leaking the NEET exam? There must be somebody who gives out that paper, isn't it?
Why are we letting the Americans fire off our shoulders? This is basically an American congressional delegation coming here to India and making a geopolitical statement against China at a time when India has its own plate full when it comes to its own troubles with China.
powered by MLA was sitting along with the suspended SP and the transferred collector and hiding the fact. And action has been taken on the collector, on the SP, but why action has been not taken on the MLA who was visibly sitting in the press meet and hiding the facts?
Now, Delhi Water Minister Atishi, who has been sitting on an indefinite hunger strike for the last 4 days, claiming that Haryana is not releasing adequate Delhi's share of water, was brought to the LNJP hospital as her health deteriorated in the wee hours of today. As you can clearly see the visuals that we are flashing on your screens as well, that is Delhi's Water Minister Atishi. She has now been admitted to the hospital after her health condition deteriorated as she was on an indefinite hunger strike against the Haryana government.
अभी hospital जा रहे हैं, अभी admit कराने जा रहे हैं.
All right, so that was Delhi's Water Minister Atishi. She has been now hospitalized to LNJP hospital here in the national capital for a deteriorated and poor health condition because of her satyagraha. She began her satyagraha on June 22nd. She said that she will sit on a hunger strike against the Haryana government for not releasing adequate amount of water. The demands that the Delhi government cited for the Haryana government is 100 million gallons per day of water, which they claim is Delhi's share. And now, since her health has been deteriorated since the early hours of today, she has now been hospitalized by the party workers to the LNJP hospital. We have got CNN News 18's Akash Sharma joining us on the phone line early this morning. Akash, a very good morning to you. Please walk us through all the latest updates that you have received with regards to Atishi's health.
Right, so it has been 3-4 days since when Atishi has been protesting. In fact, it is the 4th day. And yesterday, LNGP doctors, in fact, a team visited the particular place, and after checkup, it was advised that Atishi should be hospitalized, but she denied. However, in the midnight, her sugar levels, fell down, and it was reported as 36 in the morning at around 4 a.m. And after that, she was hospitalized. It has been confirmed by Saurabh Bhardwaj as well that how after low sugar levels, she has been hospitalized. Remember, she is protesting, for water, for more water for Delhi. In fact, she has been claiming that Haryana is not releasing the adequate amount, and even when...
This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Good evening. You're watching Brass Tacks with me, Poonam Burde, and we're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Less than a week after Arvind Kejriwal secured bail, he has now received a setback from the High Court. Staying the Delhi Chief Minister's bail, the court said the trial court's order reflects perversity. A vacation bench of Justice Sudhir Kumar Jain overturned the Rouse Avenue Court's order that had come down heavily on the Enforcement Directorate. So for now, Arvind Kejriwal will stay in Tihar jail. As he dictated the order,